Walter Camp, National Player of the Week, 36 carries, 171 yards, 4 touchdowns. And ironically, Scott, it was his first 100-yard game of his career. And they just basically dominated the line of scrimmage. I thought Alabama had the advantage on the offensive and defensive lines, and they had a big advantage. And they were able to, and the other big key was to win the time of possession decisively, because if Matt Corral was sitting over there on the sideline, Matt Corral couldn't score points, and that's what Alabama did. Nearly 38 minutes of possession time, only 22 for Ole Miss. If you look at Corral's numbers, he actually played pretty well, especially with no running game. He had 200 yards passing. I think he was somewhere around 21 to 29 for over to like 213 yards and a touchdown after Mo, Larry, and Curley decided to make another ridiculously bad call to give Ole Miss a first down late in the game, which should have been 8 stops and 10 possessions for Alabama's defense. It ended up being 7 out of 10, and they got a meaningless touchdown. But still, Corral played pretty well, but he just didn't have a lot of help around him, and Alabama's front was able to pressure him, get that strip sack turnover, which they turned into a touchdown. And, and again, I didn't think Lane Kiffin coached a smart game. I thought they were going forward on
the fourth downs
especially the one inside his own 30, which Henry To'oTo'o stuffed. To me, in that kind of game, you don't take unnecessary chances, no matter what the analytics say and all that kind of crap he likes to talk about.
Come in and gone for 14 first downs coming in, or fourth downs had come into the game going for fourth downs. And early on, the field possession where the ball was, it made sense. But you're right. He kind of gave Alabama 14 points there early.
Yeah, I mean, you're already down 14-0, and then it turns into 21-0. To me, you punt the ball there. Not very smart. If you're past midfield, or I can understand it. But when you're backed up like that, I just thought Lane's problem is he tries to act like he's the smartest guy in the room, and he's a real smug kind of guy, in my opinion. Like, okay, I'm smarter than you. It's why Nick Saban ultimately got rid of him. And ultimately, why they had a lot of clashes, because you'd see it when he was calling plays for Alabama. They would be gashing people and running the football up, off tackle and up the middle, and then he'd run that stupid, what I like to call, the Lane Kiffin, which he'd run a speed sweep or something in a short yardage situation or around the goal line. Just dumb, in my opinion, to me, that a stupid play call. He's a really good offensive mind, but he does some things that'll drive you to drink. And so I just felt like he didn't coach a very good game. Ole Miss got whipped. They're a good football team. I think they're improved from last year on defense, but they're still not in Alabama's class, and they got exposed on Saturday.
All right, the other big story is coming out of Baton Rouge. That's where the Auburn Tigers did something that they hadn't done since 1999, and it's a play that if you follow Twitter, it's the play that a lot of people keep talking about. Here is how it sounded, courtesy the Auburn Tiger Radio Network.
Nix rolls to his right, wants to throw. In some trouble. Eludes one man. Now floats it out. He has a man open. Looks downfield. Still on his feet. Still on his feet to the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown, Auburn! Nick stayed alive long enough for the score to Tyler Fromm.
Wow, what an individual effort right there. Maybe that is what the doctor ordered. A scramble where Bo Nix had to have scrambled by 40 or 50 yards, going all the way to the right, back to the left, floats up a prayer, and hits Tyler Fromm.
Don't know if it's what the doctor ordered, but it's...
And I have to disagree with Stan just a little bit. It wasn't a prayer. I mean, it was a great throw, really. Right. He saw the guy and threw a strike. Now, he should have been sacked. LSU missed the tackle, but it was a great individual effort. It was 2 of those by Bo Nix in this game on fourth down that really saved Auburn in this contest. That went a long way to saving them, because they were down 13-0 at the time and not showing a lot on offense. They did play both quarterbacks. They played T.J. Finley briefly. But really, I thought when you talk about what was at stake and the guttiness of his effort, I thought it was probably Bo Nix's best game in an Auburn uniform. And again, I told you all week, Scott, I just had this feeling that Auburn was going to win that game. Nobody was picking them. Everybody was picking LSU. since 1999. But here's my main reason in doing that. I just had a feeling that Auburn's coaching staff, I know they're new, okay, but I just felt like Harsin and his staff were going to outcoach Ed Orgeron and his staff, which is exactly what happened.
Right.
And then for whatever reason, Ed Orgeron has allowed his program to erode to the point where they don't even try to run the football.
Auburn was playing a defense that dared
LSU
they both to run.
I mean, it was crazy.
LSU had 29 rushing yards Saturday.
They were
29.
They were just daring LSU to run, like, please run, and they would not do it at all. I mean, they're so soft along the line of scrimmage and don't trust their offensive line that they don't even. Here's what they've basically turned into. They've basically turned into Mississippi State. Okay, because Mississippi State throws they throw 50 to 60 passes a game. They just run it, maybe 15 times.
Yeah.
But they do it all the time, and really that's the philosophy of the Pirate, Mike Leach. But it's really what Coach Orgeron has turned into. And to me, they've lost all their physicality, and that's why I was not shocked at all that Auburn. I just felt like when I looked at it, Auburn had a better running game, and Auburn would have more balance. And Auburn didn't run it great. But they ran
178
it. Yeah, but they ran it much better.
Yeah.
Bo Nix was able to run, and then they got Hunter going late. They still didn't get Tank Bigsby lathered up and rolling, but Hunter broke that long run down the sidelines, which set up the go-ahead score, which was huge. Once Auburn took the lead, I knew LSU was in trouble. And, of course, without being able to be balanced and run it, they threw an interception, and that sealed it for Auburn. But I trusted Auburn on both sides of the ball more than I did LSU.
LSU's got a lot of problems, and we'll break all those problems down during this week and as well during the show. Let's go to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Jeff from the Borough with us on a Monday. Good morning, Jeff.
Congratulations, Jeff.
Well, I mean, I had to work some this weekend, but I did watch the game. But I've already been called out up here. But I listened to Florida call-in show. They wasn't bowling down. They weren't even finished. I'm telling you. This guy called up. He goes, well, he's 2-2 against Kentucky now. He's average, Dan. He can't coach. He can't recruit. Guy said this morning, well, he got too conservative in all this business and all this stuff, and talking about how the guy said Saturday night he won't even make the press conference today that they're firing for it. Goes to the Monday press conference today. He won't even be. And the guy says, well, it's inexcusable to lose to Kentucky. Inexcusable. We can't lose to them. And all this stuff, all that business. So we, again, the Florida fans don't give us no credit. 8 false starts. The linemen can't stand still. They can't stand still. They're flinching every time it goes on. 15 penalties. Somebody called up on the show and said, well, where'd they get these referees, a bar in Fort Thomas Island? Where'd they get them from, And the referees screwed us anyway. They knocked Robinson down the end zone, won't throw no flag. And Valentine tries to cover somebody, breeze on somebody, and they call up interference on him. In the ball game, we're down there at the I don't know if y'all watched the ball game or not. We down there at the end of the ball game. Of course, the guy, it's a clear call. He grabs his face mask. It's a face mask penalty. Ain't no doubt about that. On the 5-yard line, and we stop them 8 times. 8 plays in a row, and they want. You see that, Drew? They want to call us for unsportsmanlike conduct for celebrating. They want to call us.
Well, yeah, and they I think they picked that one up. I thought the game turned on the.
Yeah, but what I'm telling you, the first they wanted to call it. They want to call it.
Oh, I know.
Personal foul, and then the guy says, "Well, there's no penalty." And then that idiot that they sit there and replay. Why do we have replay? Why in the world do we have it? There's no sense of it. The guy's knee is down clearly, and we got to review it. Now, there's no sense of it. It is clearly that the guy's knee's down at the 9-yard line, whatever it is, and he calls in the end zone, and guys over there celebrating with him like he's some doggone, and stuff like that. It's just ridiculous. I mean, the calls they make, because Toothspat went nuts when they knocked Robinson down and didn't call him in the end zone, about went nuts on him. I wish you took one of them officials and choked the life out of him. I wish you'd have done. They just choked him, went over and threw him in that crowd and said, okay, you have him. Just have your way with him. Let's go ahead and 2 of them. Just have your way. Tar and fed him if you want to. I wouldn't be surprised if Sankey called up an official. Okay, put 45 seconds back on the clock. Let them keep on calling till they score. Let's keep on doing it till they score and go ahead of us. Just keep on. We don't, we're ranked now, but I don't know how we're ranked. I have no idea. I don't even know what's going on. And we got ranked in both polls, but who knows why we did that. We had to beat, and somebody in Knoxville State, well, they barely beat Chattanooga. They barely beat South Carolina. And all this stuff. And now Tennessee thinks they run up all that points on Missouri, and they think they can beat Alabama now. They can line up Alabama and beat them. But I won't make a prediction, guys. Missouri will finish dead last in the SEC. Vanderbilt will beat Missouri before it's over with. Because Vanderbilt couldn't stop us for high school, what Lamass do. They're terrible. They are. I mean, and I know, Moulton, that's your favorite coach. Moulton, how was your weekend, son? Another loss for your man there drunk with. Another man lost for him. That's 2-3 nowadays. So, and I saw where Vandy went. I know he hated that. Vanderbilt beat Connecticut, so I know he don't like that either. So, but a pretty good weekend for us. We just gonna keep chopping the wood, guys. Nobody thinks we can do nothing. We just beat Florida, but they still ain't a big win for us. We got to play LSU at home, so I guess we have another sellout crowd, I reckon. See if we can get LSU line with the finish back 10 times and see if they can fall start back, whatever it is. But guys says we can't beat Georgia. We ain't got the talent to beat them, so we just have to keep on improving it. We'll get respect someday. Someday we get it. Someday from this league, but it won't be Pasanka. Anybody in Birmingham, I can tell you that. It'll be somebody else. But, y'all hang in there, guys. Have a good week. See y'all.
Well, I don't know what Jeff was expecting from a Florida call-in show. I don't think the Florida fans are going to credit Kentucky too much. And
I know they're going to be on Mullen because Mullen once again sounded like a moron. He gets the moron award in the post-game press conference.
Okay, I did not hear what he had to say.
Because somebody asked him, said, "Coach, do you believe it?" They're like, "Do you think you got out-coached today?" He goes, he's looking at the stats. Well, 382 yards to 211. I'd say no. He lost. Show a little humility. I don't see. All he's worried about is all offense. Right. He's like, well, we outgained them blank to blank. That doesn't mean a thing. Your special teams gave up a blocked field goal return for a touchdown. Okay?
Well, yeah. I
mean, which completely changed the game. Would have put you up 13-7. It goes from you're up 10-7, you're down 14-10. The roof blows off the place. And then basically they lead for the rest of the game. And now you're saying, oh, well, no, I didn't get out coached. Well, of course you did, you clown. Your offense couldn't punch it in. You may have gained 382 yards, but I think they had the ball 9 times. I'm talking about inside the red zone, and they were turned away. Right. So they just and got no points. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. They really did dominate the game in a way, but Kentucky found a way because Josh Paschal rushed the passer. They were able to win the game up front in key downs, not every time. And then they got the Wandale Robinson big time touchdown early to tie the game at 7. And then they got the break they needed because, like Jeff said, his knee was down. Copeland's knee was down. Clearly, once you saw the replay. I mean, I don't blame him for reviewing it because when you first saw it, you're trying to make sure that because it would have tied the game, probably led to overtime and maybe a Kentucky loss. Hopefully, maybe they would have found a way. But again, I think when you looked at the replay, though, like Jeff said, he was clearly down, and so they got that right, and then they stood on their head and they got the goal line stand. They played really well. Really happy for John Summerall and that Kentucky defense. I mean, it's a huge win for Kentucky, and it wasn't pretty, but like Jeff said, they're winning games. They didn't look great against South Carolina, but they won. They didn't look great against Chattanooga, but they won. They're 5-0. You can't say anything else, but they're 5-0. I do find it funny, though, because Jeff has already told us earlier this year to get over the officiating. And
he did. That's what I was going to call him out on.
Yeah,
because
don't worry about replay. They need they have that for a reason, and blah blah blah. And now all of a sudden he's fire all these officials. And
he also said,
terrible.
I kind of watched the game, but then he went on in detail about the game itself.
I mean,
it is what it is.
But now I agree with his take today. I'm glad he's finally woken up. The SEC officiating isn't very good. Okay, we talked about it last week.
Yes.
It's awful. and they nearly cost Kentucky the game because, Wan'Dale Robinson, that probably should have been an interference call. I don't disagree with Jeff there. And so, but at least now Kentucky got the breaks they needed to win the game. I want to see if they can stand prosperity, though, because when they went on to have a 10-win season when they beat Florida in Gainesville, they could do that again. And honestly, they should beat LSU because Kentucky's got a good defense, okay? They're playing pretty well on defense. They can rush the passer. LSU is one-dimensional, and so to me, they ought to be able to take LSU out, and then it sets up just a gargantuan. Maybe they're going to be significant underdogs
against Georgia.
But they will. You're going to be taking on Georgia, which would be a battle of unbeatens if Georgia takes care of Auburn, like I think they will. Because as much respect as I have for Auburn's win against LSU, this Georgia defense is a different deal, and I think Auburn's going to struggle to score in that game.
I have to imagine that Georgia spread will be high. All right, we got a lot of people on the list. Let's get back out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Let's get to Jason first. Good morning, Jason.
Hey, good morning, fellas.
Morning, Jason.
Morning.
I thought I thought Kentucky had lost Saturday night and was now 1-4. I've never heard anybody that disappointed after a win.
Well, I think he thought they should have beaten them worse than they did. And, I guess I can understand some of that. But, again, just enjoy the victory. Your team won. They gutted out a great performance, and they deserved to win. I thought they outplayed Florida in the game.
Yeah.
Oh, by all means, they did. They put it on Florida. Oh, LSU, if they don't get rid of that coach, Ogeron down there, they're getting ready to burn that program. He's getting ready to set them years behind.
Yeah, LSU and Ed Orgeron's got a lot of it doesn't get any easier for him. They still have Alabama left on the horizon. They got Texas A&M, which we'll talk about. They got Texas A&M left. They got Arkansas left. They got Kentucky left. It is not an easy road to hoe for Ed Orgeron, and it could be a bad outcome for him.
Yeah, I don't see nothing good in it. LSU can get a good coach down there.
Well, Ed Orgeron was a guy that a lot. Yeah, I agree, Jason. It's a great job. They gave it to he's a Louisiana guy. A lot of people in the state want him to have a chance. It's kind of like Mike DuBose. And then DuBose didn't win a national title, but he won an SEC title. And then everything fell apart, and everything's falling apart on Orgeron because he's not a head coach. He's a defensive line coach, and that's period, end of story.
And I think they're grabbing at air by trying to bring back everything with Joe Brady. There's only one Joe Brady.
Yeah,
you can't duplicate the guy. You can try to duplicate the system the best you can, but you
ain't
can't
got Joe Burrow either.
Right.
Even though Johnson's a good player, let's understand that.
Yeah.
You think about the running back talent. It's got to be out of the state of Texas and Louisiana, and they don't have a running back.
Yeah, it's just they haven't recruited. It's really kind of like Gus Malzahn. They haven't recruited offensive linemen very well and haven't developed them very well. So it's going to be a rebuild for whoever goes there. Now it's a quick rebuild because they're talented, and you can also use the transfer portal because LSU still has talent. You could see it Saturday. I just don't think they're a cohesive football team because Orgeron has no clue how to build a program.
Right.
I hadn't been keeping up with why Stingley not playing.
They claim he's injured. He's been seeing a doctor. I don't know. Who knows? I think he's half opting out. Kid hadn't made a play since he was a freshman. So, and somebody called me yesterday and said Mel Kiper still got him going 3rd overall. I don't know why. 3rd overall on what? Freshman tape?
He didn't play last year at all.
He didn't play last. Well, he did play last year, but he didn't play well. And so and so I'll give him credit for that. He did not opt out, but I didn't think he played at that high a level. He was great as a freshman, except against Devontae Smith. But but this year I think he's played in 1 game, maybe 2. And so what are you basing it on? He's not even out on the field, and so to me, he's talented, probably a first-round talent, but I wouldn't waste a top 5 pick on him unless he gets his butt back out there on the field and makes some plays.
Right. You look at watched the ball game last night with Mac Jones, and he was like the fourth quarterback taken in the draft. Well, somebody messed up on that.
Well, he looked awesome, man. I mean, he nearly, he had 19 straight completions, which is ties the record for a rookie for the most in 30 years consecutively in a game. And he made enough plays where he put his team in position to have a chance to beat Tom Brady. So he's certainly living up to the hype, and he's the best rookie QB easily out of the class so far. Now, you're not trying to get ahead of yourself too much, but Mac is certainly. I know the Patriots' record isn't great right now, but I think they can turn it around. But I think Mac's got a bright future.
All right, Jason, hate to do it to you, but we got to move on, buddy.
Have a good Monday.
All right, let's get one more in real fast. Mike is with us. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, guys. How are you doing today?
Good, sir.
Hey, quickly, I've never heard a fan call in complaining about the officials, and then you look and his team was flagged 4 times and the other team was flagged 15 times. I mean, that was a little bit too much to take.
Yeah, that's Jeff from the Borough bringing his wisdom.
Yeah, I don't understand it. They won the game. I don't know why you're complaining about the officiating. I mean, come on, man. And why you're listening to a Gator calling show. I guess because you're reveling in the fact that you won the game.
I mean, they're not going to compliment.
Why aren't you listening to the Kentucky post game? That must have been bonkers. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I think sometimes he's looking for something to complain about, but Drew, I got to tell you said something a couple minutes ago that I don't think I agree with, and that's Kentucky outplayed them. I mean, when the team gains 380 yards, the other team gains 220. Granted, they made the key plays. The blocked field goal was huge, and they played some great defense, but I'm not sure I'd say they outplayed them, outcoached them. Yeah, but anyway, hey, on the important thing. Man, I could not have been more impressed with the Alabama linebackers who I have taken apart early in the year. I thought To'o finally played and lived up to the billing.
Well, he made a great play on the certainly on that fourth down speed option. He got out of position a couple other times on some drives, but it happens. There's no utopias. Same way with Christian Harris. He had a sack at the end of the first half. He got out of position a couple times, but again, that Ole Miss offense, is going to do that to you. But I don't know how you can really complain about that Alabama defensive effort, because if you had come into the game and told me that sans an incompetent officiating call, that they were going to hold Ole Miss to 14 points and get what should have been 8 stops in 12 possessions. 8 stops in 10 possessions, pardon me. I think anybody would have taken that, because look, myself, everybody in the media was saying, 45-31. Everybody had a pretty high scoring game going on. They did not think Ole Miss was going to get shut down. And Pete Golding, who I've criticized, I thought they had a great plan. They went out there and they dominated the line of scrimmage. And I think they played good complementary football because they had a good offensive plan. They realized watching film that they could run it right at Kentucky. Keep running it right at them. Pardon me, I got Kentucky on the brain because of Jeff. Right at Ole Miss and just dominate the time of possession, dominate the line of scrimmage. And if Ole Miss is over there on the sideline, they can't score. And so that's what they did. It was short, intermediate passing. Yeah, they missed, Jamison Williams deep, and I think that's the one thing where Bryce Young has been inconsistent, his deep ball. But his short, intermediate stuff has been unbelievably accurate, and I thought Bryce played a really nice game. He had one mistake. He tried to force that at the goal line. Probably should have just took off running, slid, and then if he didn't get the first down, kick a field goal. But again, I still think he played an exceptional game, and I thought Alabama offense, defense, and special teams thoroughly waxed Mr. Popcorn.
Well, you captured it all there, and I agree with everything you said, especially about, just running, pounding the ball up the middle, which, man alive, it just warmed my heart. And my last comment here, just moving over to the Auburn game, a great win for them, obviously, and, LSU's just got all kinds of problems. But I'm the guy who, before the season, said Bo Nix hasn't shown me that he's progressed. And, he's still 17 of 33. 52% basically. That's not elite level. I just don't think they can win a lot of games with them. That's my last comment. Thanks.
Yeah. I still kind of feel the same way. I mean, I think he got a win Saturday, Drew, but there were a lot of instances that he showed improvement with his footwork and stuff, but then lots of times he regressed back.
But I will say this. I think he had 4 or 5 more drops. His receivers do not help him. Schenker dropped a couple. Kobe Hudson, what is he doing? I mean, he hits him with a perfect throw on a slant inside the 20. And then he'll dive and make a catch. It's just like,
frustrating.
It's not. I'm sitting here thinking that's not Cornelius Williams' fault. It's still happening. These fools have to go out there and make plays, and they're just dropping the ball. And these receivers for Auburn, they got to step up. I think they got some talent. Their inconsistency is maddening. Because they'll make a play and then they'll turn around and just drop a simple pass that the quarterback hits them in the hand. And then again, I don't think their offensive line's dominant, though I thought they played better than LSU's, and that's why I gave Auburn the edge in the game. I know home field matters, but I just felt like in this case that Auburn would find a way to win, and they did.
All right, let's get a break in. Travis Reier is going to join us as we break down Alabama Ole Miss from Saturday right after these messages.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a vehicle with a flat close to traffic, I-65 northbound, 340-mile marker. That puts it right at 565. Wreck at Maston Lake and Edgemont should be clearing. Sixton, Stratford, and Decatur had injuries. It's clearing. And they're closing Church downtown north of Pratt for road work. You'll need an alternate route throughout the day. Get 3 pieces of the crispy tender chicken and a buttermilk biscuit for $4.99 at Popeyes, Jordan, and University, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Tom Luganbill here for Woody Anderson Ford. When I was in the Tennessee Valley, one of the things that impressed me the most was the quality of the people. People like Bobby White and his team at Woody Anderson Ford. And now you can experience the tremendous new service lanes and showroom at Woody Anderson Ford at Jordan and Sparkman, or just stop by for breakfast or lunch at Henry's Mustang Cafe. And in Madison, visit Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, just south of 72. Like a great college football tradition, always there, Woody Anderson Ford.
It's been tough talking to my doctor about constipation with belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. I finally laid all my symptoms out there and how they keep coming back. She said I may have irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. We agreed it's time to try something different.
Linzess, or linaclotide, is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. Linzess works differently than laxatives. It lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 6, and it should not be given to children 6 to less than 18. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. There could be more to your story with IBS-C. Visit a doctor in person or online. Say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS. Sponsored by AbbVie and Ironwood Pharmaceutical.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penney Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penney perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penney Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penney Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPenneyToyota.com. Bill Penney's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121. Hello?
Hello, Mrs. Kuntz. It's the back left tire of your RV calling. Wanted to give you a heads up that I'm going to blow out on the highway later today.
Wait, what?
Says here I'm going to burst in the middle of rush hour.
Well, can we reschedule?
Sorry, our policy states that once we're scheduled to burst, we have to. We really pride ourselves on our commitment to blowouts.
RV owners can't schedule when things go wrong on the road. That's why there's Progressive, a leader in RV insurance.
You want a text confirmation when I burst?
Think I'll notice.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliate.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
He's bald, he's opinionated, and he's here.
You're morally reprehensible, vulgar, insensitive, selfish, stupid. You have no taste, a lousy sense of humor, and you smell.
Listen to Feinbaum, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Each week, they lace it up. Each week, we'll present our Team of the Week.
Get it in here! I got one thing to say!
So it's time for the Bryant Bank Team of the Week presentation.
And with that, we do say congratulations to this week's 97.7 ESPN The Zone Bryant Bank Team of the Week. We're going to stay in the city of Huntsville this week. Congratulations to the Lee Generals.
Yes, the Lee Generals get a huge win over the Brewer Patriots. And Irvin McGuire's in his first year since coming back to his hometown to take over the Lee Generals. It's always great to honor a team inside our city, already honoring the Huntsville Crimson Panthers for their win over rival Grissom earlier this season, and now the Lee Generals with that big time win over the Brewer Patriots. The Lee Generals will be our ESPN 97.7 The Zone Team of the Week, presented by Bryant Bank. We'll have Coach Irvin McGuire on the show on Wednesday, and then we'll be out there to honor the Lee Generals this week and give them their $200, the $200 check presented by our good friends, our sponsor, Bryant Bank.
All right, 256-576-4977. That's the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. You can get in on the show this morning as we come to you live from Bill Penney Toyota, sitting out here in the service department. The service department is open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and then on Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. If your car needs to get serviced, head on out here to Bill Penney Toyota. Let them take care of all of your service needs. And while you're out there, make sure you stop up at the showroom. Take a look at some of those brand new Toyotas. Great financing deals available here at Bill Penney Toyota. Bill Penney Toyota, right along University Drive. And as we broke it all down for you, still kind of breaking down Alabama and Auburn's win, how about the Tennessee Volunteers who go on the road to Missouri over the weekend? And literally this one was never really in doubt. Tennessee jumps all over Missouri, so much so that the Missouri coaching staff afterwards, it's another SEC assistant gets fired. This week, defensive line coach Jethro Franklin from Missouri was let go after the game. Defensive analyst Al Davis will take over as Missouri just gets blown out from Tennessee.
I mean, it was 45-10 at halftime. I mean, it was awful if you're a Mizzou fan. Now, if you're a Tennessee fan, it's unbelievable. What a performance. I think we now know that Hendon Hooker is the quarterback of this team. Okay? Yes. He gives them consistency. He gives them some balance with the passing game. He's more accurate than Joe Milton. And Joe Milton was healthy enough to get in at the end of this game. Okay, they put him in the game. So, but I think Hendon Hooker, the senior transfer from Virginia Tech, is their quarterback going forward. They've got to be gaining some confidence. I think the way this is developing, the one thing that I agree with Jeff, I know hell's freezing over, what he said, Missouri may be the worst team besides Vandy now.
Yes.
I disagree with that. I don't think Vandy's going to beat them.
Yes.
But it could be competitive, though, as bad as Missouri's playing on defense. But I do think that Missouri's down there at the bottom with Vandy in this league.
How did we get it wrong with Missouri?
Well, their defense is so bad, Scott. It's the worst. I didn't think it'd be the worst in the SEC, and it's probably worse than Vandy's.
Because at SEC Media Days, the talk surrounding Missouri was, here's a team that could be, third, maybe fourth in the
And they're regressing.
East.
I mean, they played a competitive game against Kentucky, 35-28. They lost that shootout against Boston College, but that was just horrible. I mean, they're at Faurot Field, they're at home against Tennessee, and they look like they were totally disinterested in playing. I mean, that's on Elijah Drinkwitz, but Missouri right now looks like their sixth best team in the East, and I just, I don't think now we've seen Kentucky beat Florida. Okay, and I disagree with Mike. They outplayed them. Okay, they outplayed. They won the game. They found a way to win the game. I don't think it's Georgia and everybody else. They're just all they all bunched up. And now Kentucky's got a chance to be number 2 because they've already beaten the Gators, and so I think they can. And they've already beaten South Carolina. They've already beaten Missouri. And they're going to beat Vandy. They should be the second best team this year in the SEC East. But it's just the East is a lot weaker than the West. I mean, there's just no question about it. I know Arkansas lost 37-0 to Georgia, but Arkansas was banged up. Arkansas has improved. They just can't. They just can't play with Alabama or Georgia, in my opinion. I think right now Georgia and Alabama have separated themselves.
Well, they have. There's elite teams, there's great teams, and there's good teams. Alabama and Georgia have put themselves in the elite category. Arkansas has put themselves in a good category, maybe great at times, but they're a good team.
And it's still a really tough division in the SEC West. But I'll say this: think about Texas A&M, all the hype they got. You're talking about Mizzou, but think about A&M. A&M was supposed to be a college football playoff contender. They've now lost to the preseason 6th and 7th place teams in the SEC West back-to-back weeks.
First
and
time
they got
since
Alabama coming to College
SEC,
Station.
they're 0-2 is Texas.
And they're about to be 0-3. So,
all right, let's go to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Justin's with us this morning. Good morning, Justin.
Good morning, guys. How are we doing today?
Good morning, Justin.
All right. I'm doing pretty well. Guys, I got one question here. Actually 2 things. I'm going to say the first thing first. How ironic Vanderbilt wins the football game on a field goal made by Joseph Bulovas.
And hey, Justin, before I let you finish your point, they've won both their games on Bulovas kicks.
That's unbelievable.
Because he made one against Colorado State on the last play as well. So Vandy's wins are both narrow, and Bulovas has won them both.
Well, I'm glad he's not banging them off the uprights for Vandy. So,
well, I'm just happy for him that he's having a pretty good year for them.
And another thing, here's one question. I think I know football a little bit, but everybody I see, I believe Alabama and Georgia right now could play a mediocre football game, and I believe they're still 2 touchdowns better than everybody they play, even if they don't play well. And the thing is, if they are both undefeated, which I believe they will be when they play in Atlanta, and one of them beats one of the other, is the committee going to be, are they going to make them 1 versus 4, make them play again immediately, or do you think they'll put them on separate sides?
I don't know. That's a great question. A lot of that is going to depend on how the rest of the field shapes up. Now, Oregon's already thrown up all over themselves, so they lost to Stanford, who's
on an
decent.
Untimed down, nonetheless. That game got sent to overtime.
Yeah, because of a penalty. They gave up a touchdown pass on an untimed down, and they did not, and they ended up losing in overtime. So, Mario's done a good job over there, but he still has this tendency to blow some games he shouldn't be blowing. So,
but if Oregon goes on, though, to win the Pac-12, win everything, does Oregon still have a shot to get in from the Pac-12?
Well, they better hope Stanford runs the table from this point forward. Because if Stanford ends up being a 7-5 team, no, they won't have a shot.
And I got one more question, and one more statement that I believe to be true.
Sure.
You guys may agree with this or disagree with this. I firmly believe right now, from what I've seen, I believe that if you took Alabama and Georgia's best 53 players and made an NFL roster of them right now, I firmly believe they could go 10-6 or 11-5 in the NFL. I really believe that.
Together or combine Georgia and Alabama?
Take Alabama and Georgia's best 53 players, or best 53 players on
Right.
each team. Combine them. Make one team. And I honestly believe they could go 10-6, 11-5, and make the playoffs in the NFL right now. I believe that.
Well, I don't know about that, but I do think they're both extremely talented. Certainly, I think Georgia's playing the best defense in the country. There's no way you can't say that.
They've only given up 23 points this season.
I would still rank them number one right now over Alabama, but
and I would too. And
I'm still not completely sold on their offense though, because they haven't had to and maybe their defense won't have to with how good their defense is, but I'd like to see if they get pressed a little bit how that offense does, because I think you probably saw the game, or at least heard about it. They only called 4 pass plays the whole second half. To me, They were still trying to hide the quarterback. Now, they didn't have to. I mean, they just ran the ball right at Arkansas. They had the advantage, but they're going to have to throw the football better if they're going to complete the mission.
If JT Daniels was in that game on Saturday, do you think they call?
Probably.
Did they call more pass plays?
Probably so, but, I mean, how good is JT Daniels? Is he ever going to be completely healthy? I mean, we don't know yet.
You couldn't blame Alabama, really, or Georgia, that matter, this week. They were playing a team that literally ran a 3-2 defense the entire ball game. So
yes,
they were
just daring you to run. Yeah, agreed.
Wait a minute. So if a team sets up to dare you to run, you're supposed to run the ball? Is that what? Is that the case?
Yeah,
I know.
Someone better tell Ed Orgeron.
If they got 5 in the box and I've got 5 offensive linemen, it's a hat on a hat. I think we got a pretty good shot of moving the football on the ground. That's for sure. I mean, like I said, I'm not a genius, but I'm just saying. But I appreciate it, guys. You have a good one.
Yeah. Someone better tell Ed Orgeron that if a team plays a defense that shows you how to run the ball, you better run the ball. Let's get a break in. When we come back, we're going to wrap up hour one. More of your phone calls and more discussion on what a Saturday it was in college football.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a vehicle with a flat close to traffic, I-65 northbound, 340 mile marker. That puts it right at 565. Wreck at Maston Lake and Edgemont should be clearing. Sixton, Stratford, and Decatur had injuries. It's clearing. And they're closing church downtown north of Pratt for road work. You'll need an alternate route throughout the day. Get 3 pieces of the crispy tender chicken and a buttermilk biscuit for $4.99 at Popeyes, Jordan, and University, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Bob Baumhauer and 97.7 ESPN The Zone have teamed up to bring you a huge opportunity this fall. Each week, come on down to Baumhauer's during the drive on Thursdays between 5 and 7 and register to win a Lunch Bunch gift certificate for 6 to Baumhauer's. But wait, there's more. Each weekly winner will then be placed into a drawing for Bob's tickets to the LSU-Alabama game in Tuscaloosa, complete with an invitation to Bob's exclusive pregame party at Baumhauer's tent on the quad. Stay tuned to 97.7 ESPN The Zone for other opportunities to sign up and win Bob's tickets.
What can you expect when you shop for a firearm at Bullet & Barrel? Expect great prices. We specialize in quality over quantity. Expect great service. Our professional sales staff is never pushing. We won't talk you into something that doesn't fit your needs. You have the right to make a smart, informed decision. Expect Bullet & Barrel, Alabama's only 5-star indoor shooting range, to support you after the sale. Bullet & Barrel, 3252 Lehman Ferry Road. Like or follow us on Facebook. Come see us soon.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer here. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is your big game headquarters all fall long. And with our new fall features, every day is game day at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Try our pregame starters, including our homemade onion strings, always fresh hot lips, and our all-new Buffalo Dippin' Chicken appetizer. Our main events include incredible chicken, fish, and shrimp selections, always featuring local Alabama Gulf seafood. And don't forget our Sunday Blitz, 11 to 6. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
If you need a car, McCurry Motors is ready to put you in a quality vehicle, and in-house financing is available. If you have a job, McCurry Motors will work with you even if you have a bankruptcy, divorce, or bad credit. Visit McCurrySaysYes.com. Every car comes with a warranty, and they report to the credit bureau. With 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens, call 256-230-0232, or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville, call 256-713-0575.
Hi everybody, Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
This segment of Talkin Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
And welcome back to Talking Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And we're live from Bill Penney Toyota, sitting out here in the service department this morning on a Monday morning. Welcome in, 256-576-4977. That's the number to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline if you want to get in on the show on this Monday morning. We welcome your opinions. We've been talking a lot about college football, and rightfully so. It was another big weekend of college football, and the newest AP poll is out. A lot of changes to it, especially inside the top 10. Alabama, Georgia, Iowa, Penn State, Cincinnati, Oklahoma, Ohio State, Oregon, Michigan, and BYU are your top 10. Checking in for the SEC this week, the rest of the top 10, you got Arkansas at number 13, Kentucky at 16, Ole Miss 17, Florida falls down to 20, and Drew, for the first time since 2014, Clemson not in the top 25. They got a win on Saturday, but Clemson falls out of the top 25 for the first time since 2014.
Yeah, haven't been very impressive. Held on for dear life but it was an undefeated Boston College team, but that league is not getting a lot of credit right now, and they just continue to struggle. So no question about it. It's been surprising that Clemson has played as poorly as they have. They continue to look bad offensively. I think they still got a pretty good defense under Brent Venables, but they're already really out of the college football playoff conversation. And really now, it's with their 37-34 win over Louisville, Wake Forest is the only unbeaten team left in the ACC. So right now, and you got to get.
It's a great story for Wake, but
it is. Dave Clawson, he's done an amazing job flying under the radar. But, I don't think they're going to run the table and be in the college football playoff conversation. So the ACC right now just is not a good football league. And Clemson has slipped. Obviously, DJ Uiagalelei is not what we thought he was so far anyway. And Jeff Scott going to South Florida. I think finally Clemson started losing some coaches and losing some people that were, had been stalwarts in that program. And Dabo and his offense are going to have to go back to the drawing board. They're recruiting very well, but it's going to be interesting to see what they do after this season. If they finish poorly, if they lose 3 or 4 ball games, what kind of changes they make within that program to try to stay among the elite,
right.
Because they've backslid this year, no doubt about it.
Well, if you're looking at it as far as playoffs go, the SEC right now sitting in great shape. Obviously, Alabama, Georgia sitting there at 1 and 2. Presumably, if those guys, one of those run the table, they're getting in. The Big Ten has 2 teams inside the top 5, Iowa and Penn State. Those 2 meet each other this Saturday in Iowa City. Ohio State in there at number 7. They're looking good. Cincinnati extinguishes Notre Dame's hopes of making the college football playoffs with that win in South Bend. There's no
Cincinnati would get my vote right now. I know I respect Matt Moscona a ton, but he doesn't think that Cincinnati has any, under any consideration. He doesn't think they should be in if they run the table because of the playing in the American Athletic Conference. I understand it's a weaker league. And I understand, and I agree that Notre Dame was overrated, but they went on the road, they won there, they won at Indiana, who's not very good too. I understand that. But I got to give Cincinnati a lot of credit for getting those wins, and I'm just taking into account what's happening around the country.
Right.
Ohio State's already fallen on their face, and I don't think they're going to – they had a great win at Rutgers. I think it was 52-13.
You think another one is sitting there for Ohio State?
I think Ohio State will drop another game. And so, to me – unless somebody runs the table in the Big Ten, and I have doubts about that, I think because I think Cincinnati could compete in the Big Ten, no question about it. But if unless there's an undefeated team in the Big Ten, I already don't think there's going to be one in the Pac-12. The Pac-12 is falling apart because of Oregon losing. We saw UCLA get beat again by Arizona State. Get them. They obviously weren't even close to elite.
Texas plays Oklahoma.
And I think they can in the Sooners because I don't think the Sooners are that good. Now, if the Sooners find a way to continue to, look mediocre but win, then Oklahoma is going to be there. I think if they run the table, but I don't think they will. So the way for Cincinnati to get in is if Oklahoma loses and there's no undefeated team in the Big Ten, to me you have to give them a shot.
Right.
And so, that's what, if you're a Cincinnati fan, that's what you got to hope happens, that somebody loses in the Big Ten, Oklahoma gets beat. And so if you're the last undefeated team standing besides a Georgia or an Alabama.
I was going to say, if it comes down to a one-loss Georgia or a one-loss Alabama,
they're both getting
Cincinnati is going to get
They're both getting
out.
in. But no, I'm just saying if Cincinnati is undefeated and all these other leagues have 1 or 2 lost teams, Cincinnati can still get in. Now, I think they'll get slaughtered, by Alabama or Georgia, but I think they can get in.
All right, 256-576-4977. Just some early playoff talk there, simply just based on
a lot of football left to be played.
There's a lot of football.
And Cincinnati has to navigate, this landscape. They can't come out flat and blow one of these games in the AAC.
You could have circled the UCF game, but Gus Malzahn has taken a lot of heat for that Navy loss over the weekend.
Whatever. As soon as their quarterback got hurt.
Yeah, Dylan Gabriel looked okay this past weekend. Not great, but he looked okay in the Navy loss. But UCF had a lead and watched Navy come back. And boy, oh boy, the criticisms of Gus Malzahn and his play calling, the tweets that were coming out were exactly the same, just different people. Now they're UCF fans talking about Gus Malzahn, exactly what Auburn fans had been typing about for years.
I mean, I wonder if Big Cat Bryant made any tackles against Navy. You know what I'm saying?
So, Navy was winless on the year.
Oh, yeah, they've been struggling, no doubt about it. So the Gus already, running into a ditch.
Yep.
Out in Orlando.
We're not running into a ditch.
And he's and they're about to move up into the Big 12. Have fun with that.
We're far from a ditch, but if we were, we could bring our vehicle here to Bill Penney Toyota, get 4 new tires put on it, and we'd be good to go as we're sitting out here in the service department. Hour 1 in the books. Hour 2 going to get started with Travis Reier. We'll reflect on that Alabama Ole Miss win and look ahead to Texas A&M. The Aggies coming in limping to this one after another loss. We'll get Travis's breakdown next.
Never mind fall and football being in the air. We want to taste it.
And never mind not being able to tailgate at the game. Let's create the ultimate barbecue experience in your own backyard.
You said it, Foster Brooks, and that's where Brooks & Collier comes in. Big selection of outdoor furniture.
And a big selection of grills and smokers like Traeger, Big Green Egg, Blaze, even DCS, and more.
This is the good stuff.
And Paul, we definitely got the accessories. And remember, we deliver. Visit us at 813 Meridian Street and shop online at brooksandcollier.com.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy sky with a couple of peaks of sunshine for your Monday afternoon. It does look like the vast majority of us are going to stay dry, though an isolated shower certainly can't be ruled out across all of North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures a little cooler compared to what we saw last week. Highs only climbing into the mid and upper 70s, dropping into the lower 60s through the overnight. Better opportunities for widespread rain return to the Tennessee Valley as we head into your Tuesday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Good morning from the traffic center. Working with a clean slate now, got some fog to deal with, and they plan to close church north of Pratt after the morning rush. That'll be a closing in place throughout the day. You'll need an alternate. Do your methods to lose weight no longer work for you? Odds are your hormones are the problem. Find out with a free quiz at 2030huntsville.com. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
This is Brent Musburger's VSIN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Simple Green is perfect for making your auto, RV, cycling, boating, and other sporting equipment look like new. Visit them at simplegreen.com.
MLB Playoffs starting this week. The Dodgers, the favorites to win the World Series. They host the NL wildcard game against the Cardinals on Wednesday. Dodgers plus 350 odds to win it all. The Giants at plus 475. The Rays at plus 500. The Astros plus 600. And the White Sox at plus 650. Monday Night Football. The Raiders on the road taking on the Chargers. Vegas coming in a 3-point road underdog. The over-under 51.5. Both teams are 2-1 against the spread. UFC Vegas 39 Saturday in Vegas. The main event in the women's strawweight division. Mackenzie Dern, a minus 160 favorite against Marina Rodriguez at plus 135.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 97.7ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And just like that, hour 2 of Talking Ball live from Bill Penney Toyota is kicking off. Don't forget, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. You can get your car serviced. Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can bring your car out here to Bill Penney Toyota. They will take care of all your service needs. Right now, they have tire deals going on. You buy 3 tires, you can get that 4th tire for just $1 here at Bill Penney Toyota. Don't forget, while you're out here, stop into the showroom. Test drive a brand new Toyota. Ask them about their financing deals, and then you can register for a chance to win $5,000 It is the Bill Penney Toyota, home of the $5,000 test drive. Just ask a salesperson for details. And over the weekend, Alabama again looked good against Ole Miss. Drew, to me, I think they just need to clean up a few tackling issues. Just some guys again missing some tackles, but overall, what we're seeing from game one to game now is a little bit of improvement, especially along that defensive side. Guys getting into position a little bit more often, not seeing as many mistakes. But it's about the finished product, and Alabama trending in that direction.
Well, I mean, you're going to miss some tackles against Ole Miss. You can't play a perfect game, but they played a really good, solid defensive game, no question about it. It was a heck of an effort by Alabama on defense. Yeah. They played at a very high level. They won the game up front. They got a really good play out of Will Anderson once again, who's now leading the nation in tackles for loss with 11 tackles for loss. Lane Kiffin lamenting after the game in his press conference once he choked the popcorn down that he wishes that 31 could just go ahead and be the first pick in the draft. But unfortunately, he has another year of eligibility left before he's eligible for the NFL draft. But certainly I thought Alabama played well defensively. I thought DeMarco Hellum's tackle was in better position. They got a couple pass interference penalties. Jalen Armour-Davis got one that was a good call, but I thought overall he competed, played well. Job got one at the end. It was a garbage call, but I mean, still, I thought he played well. I thought, and then they cut the penalties down to 5. They only had 5 penalties, and really it should have been 4. So Alabama was much more disciplined in the game, I thought, and then Ole Miss did get several penalties, and they kind of put the pressure on Ole Miss and made them crack. And I thought Alabama played at a very, very high level.
All right, let's go out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, shall we?
Yes, absolutely. We can go out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. We're going to welcome our next guest to the show. Of course, he joins us on a weekly basis, does a great job. Since 2003 is the senior analyst for BamaOnline.com. Also does their daily podcast, and they were busy this past week because there was some big basketball news as well coming down from the Capstone. But we always enjoy catching up with Travis Reier, getting his takes on the game from the weekend and then looking ahead to the next opponent, which will be the Texas A&M Aggies. Travis, welcome back. How are you, sir?
I'm great. How are you guys?
We're doing well, man, and we were just kind of talking about that effort from Alabama. I'll freely admit I didn't see that kind of defensive effort coming, shutting down Lane Kiffin in this Ole Miss offense, but I thought it was great complimentary football in really all 3 phases for Alabama against the Rebels.
Yeah, I would say pretty safe to say their most complete effort. Played good against Miami also, but I think the quality of competition, especially on the offensive side of the ball, was elevated on Saturday. And so, defensively, I thought they looked much more connected throughout the game. People talk about the Georgia defense and how talented it is, but I think the difference so far for Georgia has been everybody just pretty much does their job. You watch them play together, and they play excellent team defense. And that's what it was going to take Saturday because basically offenses like Ole Miss and even what you see from Alabama at times, it's modern era triple option football. And so if you don't get 11 guys just taking care of their individual responsibilities, that's where the explosive plays come in. And Alabama did a nice job of limiting those type of plays. Gave up the 2 early 4th downs on the opening drive by Ole Miss, but then proceeded to take care of business on 4th down on the 3 that followed, and produced a big turnover and field position set up for the offense there late in the second quarter. And you knew Ole Miss was going to take some chances. Lane understands. He's still in a position as a program there that they have to do that against teams like Alabama. They don't have anything to lose, really. So, going for the 4th downs, trying to be aggressive deep in your own end, and turning the ball over, things like that. It's part of it. But, yeah, I think the Alabama defense obviously the highlight of the day. But, what a performance by Brian Robinson, too. Just a Derrick Henry-like afternoon for him. And the concern now with Jace McClellan going down with the knee injury is depth. At a place like Alabama, That's why they try to keep 5 or 6 scholarship backs ready to go.
Yeah, it really does. Yep.
Well, Travis, and too, I mean, offensively, it wasn't a splashy type of day. They just took what Ole Miss gave them, ran the ball, workman-like performance, really, for that offensive line as well as that running game.
Yeah, there had been talk throughout the week that Ole Miss in this 3-2-6 sort of alignment, what would that present to Alabama? And you got the feeling even in the USM game the previous Saturday that maybe they were ramping up more of the 12 personnel with the 2 tight ends to be able to run it effectively. And, they didn't produce a ton of explosive runs, but they were more than capable of keeping the chains moving and the clock moving, and went a long way in keeping the Ole Miss to just 63 plays in the game too, which was a big key going into it because Ole Miss got off 86 plays a year ago in Oxford. So to be able to reduce that by really a quarter of plays, if not more, was big, especially after Ole Miss went 16 plays on its opening drive. So to answer that possession with a long drive of its own, 94 yards, and taking 6.5 minutes off the first quarter clock, that was kind of a statement that this was the kind of game that Nick Saban and Alabama was hoping to have.
And then, Travis, your thoughts. I know you lauded Brian Robinson. Certainly he performed, had the best game of his career. They did lose Jace McClellan. Looks like a significant knee injury. He could miss the remainder of the season. We saw a little bit of Roydell Williams and Trey Sanders. I did like the split backfield look that they came out with early in the game. I thought it gave Ole Miss some problems. It could be, even with the loss of McClellan, with Roydell Williams stepping in, could be a benefit to Alabama down the stretch.
Yeah, it could be. And they also have depth at tight end and how they use those guys, that they can do some things with tight end personnel in certain situations. But as far as on the ball, you're right now you're looking at Brian Robinson, Roydell, and Trey Sanders, if, in fact, Jace McClellan is out for an extended period. So Kamar Wheaton's not available right now, the true freshman. So it's a little bit tenuous at the running back position. And considering that Brian's coming off 36 carries and had missed the previous week, nothing major, but still, the wear and tear and how they go about managing Brian Robinson with perhaps as many as 10 games left in the season is going to be important. So ready or not, like it or not, Roydell Williams and Trey Sanders, the opportunity is going to be there for both those guys starting this week against Texas A&M. And I would expect that it will be kind of a week-to-week thing behind Brian. We've seen that in the past, how they kind of work the guy they feel best about in a given week. So some of that will obviously have to do with what they're able to do with the football, but just as much, if not more, might have to do with pass protection and things like that.
So with that being said, do you kind of anticipate the same type of game plan this weekend for Texas A&M?
I think Texas A&M's strength as a team is that front seven. So I don't know if you can go into that game sort of anticipating lining up and running it 50, 55 times, and maybe you can. I thought Arkansas did okay with that a couple of Saturdays ago, but Mississippi State, obviously a different offense in terms of being air raid and its principles and things like that. The weakness of that defense is on the back end. They do have a couple of really experienced safeties, but you saw Alabama exploit that area of the A&M defense last season. The key is going to be, can they protect with DeMarvin Leal and some of those Michael Clemens and some of those guys that can hurt you in the pass rush. So, that'll be a challenge for Alabama up front this week. But, I think they can run the football effectively just about week in and week out. But I don't know if it can be such a concerted effort to the run this week.
And Travis, what do you? I got a two-part question. I know you talked about it being tenuous at running back now because in the spring they had 7, but we've seen Kyle Edwards transfer, Keelan Robinson, now Kamar Wheaton and Jace McClellan are injured, so you're down to 3. could we see maybe an addition of a Jalen Milroe as a gadget guy to maybe kind of help the running game with some reverses and things of that nature to maybe or some wildcat stuff to basically take the load off those three backs, and he could add some explosiveness to that running game as a kind of a guy, a change of pace kind of guy. Do you think they could create a role for Milroe going forward? And then the second part of the question is, how do you with this matchup with Texas A&M? You just mentioned their defensive line, and then that'll be a challenge for Alabama, no question about it. But how do you kind of see Alabama kind of approaching the A&M game? I wouldn't be surprised if we see a concerted effort to throw the ball a little bit more, considering what we saw Mississippi State do to them this weekend.
Yeah, I think that's where you might miss McClellan the most, is being able to work opposing linebackers in the passing game. He had one catch before he was injured on Saturday yards. That's sort of been his calling card through the first 5 games. So that's where you got to consider his loss as well. But no, I think cross-training, regardless of who it could be, might come into play at the running back position again, because you're a long way from home when you talk about how much more season you have and kind of where you're at with your numbers. And, considering Trey Sanders each of the last 2 seasons, one off the field, but certainly one on the field too, has been hit by the injury bug. And, Milroe, a wide receiver and or both, something to try to, give them at least an emergency option if it comes down to it. I mean, you go to somewhere like A&M, if you lose a back or two in the first half, I mean, you're going to have a plan in place. It's going to, involve probably a guy or two from other positions to help fill that void.
Defensively, Travis, this group is rounding into form week by week.
It is, and the talent's been there. It hasn't been a question of that. It's, again, as we talked about earlier, it's just been this lack of connectivity, it feels like at times. Just, in the Florida game, the last 2.5 quarters down there, it just sort of felt like guys were doing their own thing too often, and Florida was able to make Alabama pay for that to the tune of 258 rushing yards. But, to hold a Lane Kiffin offense to a 10-year-era low 291 like they did on Saturday, that takes everybody doing a good job. And I thought at all 3 levels they really did. And, it's going to be now, can they sustain it? A&M isn't going to present near the challenges. It's going to start with Isaiah Spiller and Devon Achane in the backfield, obviously. But with the quarterback situation being what it is at A&M right now, the opportunity to make the Aggies one-dimensional and put the ball almost entirely into the hands of Zach Calzada at the quarterback spot with Haynes King out, obviously that's going to be the goal this week.
And then, Travis, I wanted to circle back to the offensive line. The one concern coming out of that performance, I thought it was their best overall as a unit, but Darian Dalcourt struggled with some of the snaps. It threw the timing of the plays off. They didn't have any disasters, but certainly there was a lot of high snaps. Some were offline. How do you fix that if you're Alabama? Because it almost seemed like as the game wore on that Dalcourt may have got the yips a little bit because the snaps just were a consistent issue.
Well, that's where having the luxury of, your playbook being operable from under center helps, because that's a worst-case scenario for an offense these days. So many shotgun-based offenses. It was interesting because I thought he struggled with them a little bit against Miami in the opener, but then seemed to settle in okay with Mercer, Florida, and USM. But no doubt, start to finish on Saturday, it was an issue for him. I thought post-snap he did some good things, but, those are kind of important, those shotgun snaps. So I'm sure they're going to, probably take more of a positive approach with him. You don't want it to become sort of a snake in his head moving forward. So, it's something that obviously you got to continue to monitor, and, how they go about operating their offense is a big part of that. But again, they're able to go under center, but certainly, a lot of what they like to do is out of the shotgun. So it's something they've got to clean up this week.
And then, Travis, as we are wrapping up the football discussion, how do you see this matchup with A&M? Certainly A&M has been a disappointment thus far. This was considered one of Alabama's toughest challenges, maybe the toughest in the preseason, but the last 2 weeks A&M has not played well. They lose on a neutral field in Jerry World to Arkansas by 10, and then they lose 26-22 at home to Mississippi State. Now the outlook on this game has changed dramatically. Alabama, I think last I saw, was a 17.5-point favorite. I know it's early in the week, and Alabama, is banged up a little bit. We're hearing Drew Sanders and Chris Owens could be a little banged up after the game. Where do you kind of put this? Alabama's going to have to refocus because I think they were completely locked in for Ole Miss, but now, as someone's already mentioned this morning, could be a trap game.
Yeah, you worry about it. The next three, I think, kind of qualify as that because you're going to have the bye week now out in the distance, and they really are going to be able to use that by the time it gets to them. But, you look at post A&M even, Mississippi State coming off that win in College Station is next up. And then, Tennessee goes on the road and bombs Missouri. And so, there's some intriguing matchups even beyond this one. So it's interesting because 4 years ago, College Station is where we heard the phrase rat poison uttered by Nick Saban for the first time. And here we are full circle, Alabama going back to A&M. And there's talk about, well, don't overlook this A&M team, even though it's lost a couple of games. I think the biggest concern for A&M is continuing to be the offense, and not just because of the injury at quarterback to Haynes King, but an offensive line that has had its issues as well. They hoped that they could move Kenyon Green out to left tackle. He ended up playing, I think, right tackle. That didn't work out so well, so now he's back at guard. They have a true freshman starting at right tackle and Reuben Fatherly. So that's a matchup that could see him up against a guy like Will Anderson. So, they've got issues beyond the quarterback position. Had a couple of wide receivers out for Mississippi State as well last Saturday. So just the offensive side of the ball in general, between the loss of King at quarterback and the issues up front, they just haven't been able to capitalize on some of the skill talent they do have. Jalen Weidermeyer might be the top tight end in all of college football, and he just caught his first touchdown pass of the season Saturday against State. So they haven't been able to maximize guys like Isaiah Spiller and a Chain and Anais Smith and Weidermeyer like they would like, but it's not all relative to the quarterback situation. They've got to play better up front to have a chance of pulling something off against Alabama Saturday.
Yeah, no doubt. And then to switch gears, get the final thought from you, but a huge addition for Nate Oates in basketball. I know you guys broke it down on the BOL podcast, but Jaden Bradley, we thought Alabama led for much of the process. Arizona made a late push, and then Brian Hodson and his relationship there, I think, won out in the end. But a huge addition for Nate Oates, first domino in what could be a really strong class for Alabama in November as they try to put this together.
No doubt about it. When you look at the way that Oates and Hodgson and Pett and that staff are recruiting, and you think about, well, they just signed J.D. Davis, and, they got depth at guard with Shackelford deciding to return, but, they're getting more and more into that one-and-done world at that position, especially if Davison is everything we all think he's going to be as a freshman coming up here in the next couple of months. So, big addition, fun guy to watch, especially if you're more traditionalist where basketball is concerned, because he can do a lot of the things as a sort of retro point guard, but don't be fooled by that either. You watch his clips. This is a guy who's dynamic and can finish with authority at the rim. He dunks on people on a pretty consistent basis, and you just like his size and athleticism and his physicality too. At 6'3", 185 pounds. Can bully people, it looks like, on occasion with that. But again, dynamic at the same time, and a guy that obviously, if you play guard at Alabama these days, you're going to probably be asked to take 8 to 10 threes a game, somewhere in that neighborhood. So it'll be interesting to see how his continues to evolve.
Yeah,
plenty of guys with the name or the first letter J on that basketball roster, though.
Certainly.
Tons. Yes, absolutely.
Well, Travis, great stuff as always from BamaOnline.com. Let everybody know they can follow y'all's coverage of A&M and, of course, of recruiting, because Alabama could get some more big news this week there as well.
Just go to BamaOnline.com or Alabama.247sports.com. Either way will get you to us.
Travis, we always appreciate the time. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Travis Reier with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, just recapping a little bit more of Alabama's win over Ole Miss, a game that, like we said, going into it all week long, it was talking about, can Alabama's defense stop the Ole Miss offense? How many points was Ole Miss going to score? Should you take the over? Should you take the under? I believe the under won. And obviously
yes.
The answer was yes. Alabama's defense could stop Ole Miss's offense, and we did not see what we saw in Oxford a year ago. All right, let's get a break in. When we come back, we need to recap a little bit more of Auburn's win down in Baton Rouge, a win for the first time since 1999 for the Auburn Tigers. Jason Caldwell can help us out a little bit more with that one.
Yes, he can. Inside the Auburn Tigers, Jason Caldwell up next.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
AVIQ. Who is AVIQ? AVIQ is audiovisual the intelligent way, where we put our IQ to work for your AV needs. With more than 100 years combined experience in audio, video, and automation, our team of experts is dedicated to one thing: helping you discover technological solutions that make your home special. Once you experience a game or a movie on one of our state-of-the-art home theater systems, you may never leave the house again. AVIQ can build the entire system for you or provide the quality components if you're a do-it-yourselfer. But AVIQ is more than just home theater and state-of-the-art sound systems. We offer a variety of control options for home technology. Energy efficiency, heightened security, and improved quality of life are all attainable through the automation of home systems. Intuitive and user-friendly control is our main priority in designing a system that meets your needs. Don't just take our word for it. You need to see it to believe it. Come visit us at our state-of-the-art showroom on University, just east of Jim and Nick's, across from AT&T, or visit aviqhsv.com.
Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest price mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. In diner or at home, make it Metro Diner. Everybody knows the fun begins when you get to the end zone, where you can enjoy half-price apps every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, half-price burgers every Tuesday, plus late-night pizza specials and a spectacular menu that includes jumbo wings, half-pound burgers, Tex-Mex, and an incredible selection of craft beer, and plenty of big-screen TVs. It's all happening at the end zone, 1851 University Drive, 2030 Cecil Ashburn at Jones Valley Station, and coming in early 2022, Mid-City End Zone at 1115 McMurtry next to the Target Shopping Center.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
Sitting here with Mark Kent of Southern Fidelity Mortgage Group of Huntsville. Mark, do you help pre-qualify people?
We pre-qualify people all the time, Wes. As a matter of fact, I love having them coming in here because when they come in and they pre-qualify, they can leave my office knowing exactly how much they can buy and have no worries.
Mark, tell me about your rates and pricing.
Well, Wes, this is something we're really, really proud of. Long story short is I love being able to provide the best pricing in town. Honestly, I cannot tell you the last time I lost a deal to either rate or pricing, something I'm very proud of.
So what all financing options do you have, Mark?
We do several different things. If you're purchasing a home, we can handle the purchase. If you're wanting to refinance your home, of course, rates are at the lowest they've been in the last 3 years. We do a lot of refinancing. If you're building a home, we can handle the entire process from breaking ground to the final close.
Do you sleep with your phone?
Wes, if you want to reach me, you can call me at my office phone, which is 256-562-1000. But always remember, I sleep with my cell phone at night. That number is 256-656-5936.
Maybe the air doesn't blow like it should, or it's needing new tires, or you're just ready for something newer. It's time to move up, time to trade up. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and it's the perfect time to trade in and trade up because your current car or truck is worth more than you know. In fact, we'll buy your vehicle even if you don't trade. We have nearly 100 Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned models to choose from. Our Ford Gold certified or low mileage gently used vehicles with great warranties. They've passed a 172-point inspection by certified technicians, come with a 24-hour roadside assistance, plus a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. It's the perfect time to trade in and trade up because your vehicle is worth more right now at Woody Anderson Ford. Corner of Jordan Lane and Sparkman Drive. Hope to see you soon.
This is Eli Gold of the Crimson Tide Sports Network. A new contract and expanded playoffs with the same results. Listen to Alabama football on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Steve Moulton from The Drive. Join us this afternoon from 5 to 7 with Wes Neighbors and me. Now back to Talkin Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
And welcome back, Talking Ball, 8:30 on this Monday morning, coming to you live from Bill Penney Toyota, sitting out here in the service department. Don't forget, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and then on Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. It is Bill Penney Toyota. They can take care of all your car service needs, as well as get you hooked up into a brand new Toyota if you so need a vehicle. Saturday, the Auburn Tigers travel down to Baton Rouge. They get a win for the first time since 1999, and really, I don't know, answered a lot of questions, I guess you could say, about the football program, leaving a lot of questions to be answered on the LSU side. But as for Auburn, though, what a win it was for a team that has struggled so mildly in Baton Rouge.
Well, no, they've definitely struggled since 1999. They've had some near misses, though. But Brian Harsin and staff, this was a significant win. His biggest win as the Auburn coach thus far. And remember, SEC play has just started for the Auburn Tigers, so this was a huge win in so many ways. And I thought probably the guttiest performance of Bo Nix's career, coming off of being benched, but responding in the right way, making a couple of unbelievable plays, and then just leading his team the way he did. I thought he was tremendous in the contest, and I just had a feeling all week long the Auburn Tigers were going to come up with an effort to get a big win in this matchup, because I felt like with LSU being one-dimensional, with the turmoil around the LSU program, I thought that if Auburn played good football, which I think they did, and they really responded well being down 13-0, that they could get a big win, and they certainly did under Brian Harsin as they closed out the LSU Tigers with that interception, 24-19. So a huge win for Auburn. There's no doubt about that. And it was just and they were down 19-10 still and responded with those 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. And we're going to break all of that down with our good friend in his 22nd year and coming off of that road trip to Baton Rouge, Jason Caldwell from Auburn Undercover and Inside the Auburn Tigers. Jason, welcome back to Huntsville. You're with Drew and Scott. How are you this morning?
I'm good, guys. How about y'all?
We're doing well. And do you agree with me there? I thought it was really Bo's best performance of his career when you consider everything that was at stake and those 2 unbelievable fourth down plays that he made, Jason.
Yeah, I kind of laughed all week. I wasn't sure how the team would play, but I kind of
Right.
laughed all week that people had questions about how he would respond. And that's, we've seen enough of that guy. We saw, it really reminded me of a game that we saw in person when they played, Athens. It reminded me of that high school game, that overtime game he played, where he just wasn't going to let his team lose. That was the guy I saw Saturday night. And I thought there were some things that really stood out to me. I thought it was a really good defensive plan by Derek Mason. Early on, they made a couple plays, I think, and correctly, they figured out that LSU's not going to try to run the ball. And so Auburn basically, they got pressure with 3 or 4, but at times they're rushing 2 and said, look, throw it, go right ahead. And LSU did not run it. It was strange to see, but no, I thought it was a strong performance by Bo. Obviously, Jonathan Moshinker comes up big. Once again, Jarquez Hunter makes big plays. Sean Shivers really involved in the passing game was a key with some big third down conversions, and so it was one of those games that this team needed. And for Brian Harsin, I think that was kind of that. Okay, here's your wow moment. Welcome to the SEC. You get a win. And here's the other thing that stood out. Late in that game, the Auburn fans were louder than LSU. LSU had more problems getting plays off than Auburn did. It was surprising. that place, there were people leaving at halftime, even though they were ahead.
Wow.
And in the fourth quarter, it's a back and forth game, and the stadium wasn't full. So I know it was late, but I don't know. I think you're right. There's some issues in Baton Rouge for sure.
Well, and Auburn did exactly what Auburn wants to do, and that is run the ball. They did have 178 yards rushing. Tank Bigsby a little bit, but man, they've got themselves a little bit of a freshman running back that's a good complementary piece to that backfield.
Yeah, Jarquez Hunter, big plays. And that was the first time this year we've seen Bo Nix involved in the run game. And it was a difference maker. Bo running the football, a couple of design quarterback draws, a couple of scramble runs from him. You mix that in with the running back runs, and that's enough nowadays. Georgia and Alabama kind of reverted back a little bit to old school last Saturday, and kind of running it with running backs and doing those things. But nowadays, it's mixing in quarterback runs, doing some of those things. So Auburn did a good job of that, and scheming LSU Saturday. But yeah, Jarquez he's the guy that just continues to make plays, and that's the second game in a row where he's in the game late. So they believe in a true freshman to go out there and do the things they need to do. So yeah, he's been impressive.
I really like the play call on the long run that set up the go-ahead touchdown, Jason, where they kind of did a little bit of misdirection and gave the pitch to Jarquez to go into the short side of the field. I thought that was some good play design by Brian Harsin and Mike Bobo.
It was. You bring Demetrius Robertson kind of back in motion, and then pitch the ball to Jarquez Hunter, and you're pulling. It's almost pulling guys both directions. You're pulling some guys ahead of what looks like almost a reverse to Demetrius Robertson, but instead you got a couple of guys out there that are leading the way for Jarquez Hunter as well. And so, yeah, really good play design. And there were some. I thought several of those. Basically using some LSU speed against them. And those were the plays kind of with Sean Shivers as well, where they shift tight ends, kind of had them outnumbered and going, look, we're going to count on our little running back to beat you to the first down marker. He was able to do that. So, those are some things. I thought there were plenty of things to build on. And maybe the biggest thing for me is, and when I say this, you'll start laughing because we talked about this since 2017. They didn't wait till 3 minutes left in the game to use tempo in the passing game. They got down 13-0 in the second quarter. They went almost 2-minute offense right down the field and scored, and it basically unlocked the game for them. When they moved to football Saturday, it was kind of in that fashion. They didn't wait till it was too late. And that, to me, was the biggest thing they recognized. Look, this is how we're going to have to do this. And they did it, and it worked. I think it's maybe something you can build on. Basically, we've seen it. Alabama's offense, LSU's offense in 2019, it's basically a 2-minute offense a lot of the times. Now, Saturday they slowed it down some, but that's how these quarterbacks grow up playing. That's what they do. That's when they're at their best. And I thought that was the case against Saturday.
Well, Jason, there was going to be a lot of attention on the wide receivers simply because Auburn makes a wide receiving coach change after the Georgia State game. Your thoughts on what you saw from the wide receivers on Saturday?
Yeah, I thought they played okay. I mean, it wasn't great. There were some drops. Like, Schenker dropped a couple balls, too. He's probably the most sure-handed guy they got. But, Kobe Hudson made a couple plays when they needed them. Xavier Capers down there late. Demetrius Robertson, getting him back was important. Obviously, that's the guy that Bo Nix trusts. I thought that they were solid. We didn't see as much rotation as we had in the past. There wasn't as many bodies out there as we've seen. I think they've kind of shortened that rotation a little bit to try to get the same guys on the field and get them comfortable. But I thought it was solid and not a whole lot of difference in terms of the way they played, but maybe they were able to maneuver around a little bit, do some of those things behind the scenes that you don't notice as much.
Well, and the only thing was I did think Hudson had a big drop on a slant. That's the only thing that still kind of bothered me about the game. They left some plays out there, and of course Bo gets a lot of heat, but the receivers have to make plays for him, and they need to get more consistent there, Jason, with this challenge they got upcoming, because this Georgia defense is as good as any I've seen for in a while. I think it's the best in the country right now, and if Auburn's going to have a chance on Saturday, they can't leave plays out on the field.
No, you're right. Yeah, that's a game where Bo probably should have had. Me and Mark Murphy were talking about it driving back yesterday. A minimum of 5 that you go, hey, those were just drops. There probably was a couple more that could have been caught. There are probably 5 drops that would have been another 100 yards. I mean, you're looking at Bo probably having 330 yards passing and 80 yards rushing. If you catch this ball, but there were some, they made some tough catches. Kobe Hudson made a really tough catch on an out route and did some things. So, work in progress. We talked about the receivers. You knew that was going to be maybe the toughest part to get up to speed right now anyway. It's kind of baby steps for them at the moment.
Mm-hmm. How do you see Saturday playing out with Auburn, Georgia?
Hey, it's a challenge. I think Drew's right.
Yeah.
Since I've seen in a long time, at every level. We really haven't seen. We know the secondary's talented. We just haven't seen how much, because it's hard for people to really be able to challenge them, because they can't get the ball down the field any. It comes down to making plays. If you're Auburn, LSU was the team that led the country in sacks. Now, the reason why they didn't have any Saturday probably less to do with the offensive line and more to do with Bo Nix. Most quarterbacks back there probably take 3 or 4 sacks Saturday night, but he was able to get out of it. Georgia's going to come. They're going to bring pressure and try to, again, if you're an opponent, you still got to try to make Auburn beat you throwing the football. And that's why I think we could see a little bit more tempo doing some of those things. But it's going to be a challenge. And, this Auburn defense played well again. Saturday, I thought they did a good job against LSU. A completely different challenge coming this Saturday from Georgia. There, especially if Stetson Bennett's playing, it's going to be a smash mouth. Can you hold up to our size kind of game, and that'll be different to see.
Well, and Jason, with this, it's a more traditional attack from Georgia. They're still doing a lot of the same things. We don't know if J.T. Daniels will be available, so they don't tend to throw the ball as much, with Stetson Bennett. And did you see some pass rush developing? Because I know that's been a big question for Auburn. The pass rush seemed to be better against LSU. Did they find some guys that were maybe they might have a chance to pressure either Bennett or Daniels and make Georgia uncomfortable? Nobody's been able to do that thus far except for Clemson.
Yeah, I think they found some things. The thing that you have to see is how you have to line up. Saturday, a lot of that game, it was Colby Wooden and then 3 pass rushers. So you had a 285-pound defensive lineman and then 3 250-pound defensive linemen, and LSU still wouldn't run the ball. And so Auburn was able to kind of tee off a little bit on them and do some of those things. You won't be able to do that against Georgia. And Colby Wooden's a guy that, on the interior, and you get some pressure from him. I think that's going to be one of the keys for this team. But the guy that just jumped out to me and continues to jump out to me is DQ Leota, the Northwestern transfer. He's really active, smart player. Mm-hmm. He got after it Saturday. I think he's one of the keys for this team. Him and Derek Hall did all that without T.D. Moultrie Saturday. Romello Heights brings some of those things. But Marcus Harris inside, this will be a game where get back to using more Tony Fair, Marquise Burks, those guys in the middle. Can you keep Zamir White, those guys, from getting to the second level? Protect Dakota McClain, get Owen Popo back maybe this week, and let those linebackers run and make plays. That's what this defense has to do Saturday.
Well, once again, though, it's still good to see the tight end still living at Auburn.
Yeah, and I'm going to piggyback off what Scott just said. I think so far Shanker has been maybe the most valuable offensive player for Auburn.
He's been right up there for sure. He's a guy that's a really good blocker. That's why I was kind of surprising to see him with a couple of drops Saturday, because he's been the most sure-handed guy on the team. But 100 yards receiving from a tight end for the first time in many, many moons for Auburn was huge. And he's a guy that will like a lot of times when you play Georgia, now you're looking, those Georgia guys get a little more extra motivation. But I think for Auburn, knowing how this offense works, how it wants to do things, you got Schenker involved, you got Tyler Fromm involved now for a little bit, and he's a guy that we saw in the spring kind of come along, and people see that he's a guy that can stretch the field a little bit now. And so those guys can help out that wide receiver group in that passing game and make some plays. And, it's a big deal. And when you look up, I don't watch this on the NFL, but every time you look up in an NFL game, big plays other than Tyreek Hill and a few wide receivers, the plays are being made by tight ends. And so it's a part of the offense that you can use to your advantage.
No doubt. Well, great stuff coming from Jason Caldwell, fresh off a trip with Mark Murphy to Baton Rouge to see the Tigers get a huge win in the Bayou for Brian Harsin, now 1-0 in the SEC. So that's huge for Auburn, and they will look to this huge challenge now as they will host the Georgia Bulldogs. And it's going to be, a gargantuan opportunity, though, for the Auburn Tigers coming up. And they got to be, feeling good coming off of this, breaking this long losing streak in Baton Rouge and getting a big win. And Bo Nix playing extremely well. Coming off of this victory on the road. Well, Jason, thank you for joining us and giving us your insight, and let everybody know how to follow y'all's coverage of the Georgia game upcoming.
Yep, and check us out at autigers.com, auburnundercover.com will get you there as well, part of the 247 network, and also follow me on Twitter at ITATJason.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Jason Caldwell helping us wrap up Auburn's win in Baton Rouge and looking ahead to their showdown with Georgia this weekend. Let's get our final break in. When we come back, here are tomorrow's headlines today.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Sitting here with Ann Adams of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Rise Real Estate. Is it a good time to sell your home, Ann?
Yes, it is. We have people relocating from all over the country.
Why should we choose Rise Real Estate?
Well, we've been selling real estate in North Alabama for 36 years and have sold more real estate than any other real estate company, period.
Do you help your customers through the entire process?
Yes, our agents are with you during the whole process from start to finish, from beginning to end.
In your relocation services, you have a whole team.
Yes, we have a dedicated relocation department helping customers move seamlessly into the area.
Ann Adams has been writing contracts for the last 36 years. She has the experience to help you list and sell your home, downsize your home, or help pick the perfect spot north of Alabama for you to build a future.
Call Ann Adams at 256-337-2625 or on the web at www.bhhsriserealestate.com.
Hello? Hello, Mrs. Kuntz. It's the back left tire of your RV calling. Wanted to give you a heads up that I'm going to blow out on the highway later today.
Wait, what?
Says here I'm going to burst in the middle of rush hour.
Well, can we reschedule?
Sorry, our policy states that once we're scheduled to burst, we have to. We really pride ourselves on our commitment to blowouts.
RV owners can't schedule when things go wrong on the road. That's why there's Progressive, a leader in RV insurance.
You want a text confirmation when I burst?
Think I'll notice.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliate.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find him online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Orange is the color power of construction, the color of Kubota and Huntsville Tractor and Equipment. Those who need to get things done trust Kubota's mini excavators, compact track loaders, and the best keeps getting better with the all-new mini compact loader from one of the top dealers in the country. More than 50 years of family service, every part in the book, and folks who know what to do with them. You'll be seeing orange with Huntsville Tractor and Equipment.
Come on, let's go to work.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
We're beginning to wind it down quickly now. We had that one wreck with a motorcycle involved. 6300 block of Midtown off Explorer Boulevard. Still may be trying to get it wrapped up. Had a serious injury there. And we got church north of Pratt being closed today for work. You're going to need an alternate for that one throughout the day. You get 3 pieces of the crispy tender chicken and a buttermilk biscuit for $4.99 at Popeyes. University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
This segment of Talkin Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And welcome back to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And in case you are keeping track at home this year, 9 ranked teams lost over the weekend in college football, Drew, bringing our total in 2021 to 34 AP top 25 teams losing through the first 5 weeks of the season. So if you are ranked inside the top 25, it has been tough sledding. Now this week, again, there are several top 25 matchups pitting each other, so that number is only going to grow as the season goes along. So, I mean, it's been a topsy-turvy kind of a college football season so far.
It has, but that's what makes it great. And it's been a crazy baseball into the postseason as well, as there was the wild card race was nuts in the American League. with so many teams still in the mix. The Yankees and the Red Sox went out, though. It looked bleak for Boston. I mean, they had Chris Sale on the mound. He was out by the third inning.
They had to rally to get the win.
They were down 5-1 at one point. Came back to hit a home 2-run bomb in the ninth with it tied to win 7-5 to win one of those wild card slots. And then the Yankees had a tremendous win over the Rays, 1-0. They Aaron Judge with a single in the ninth inning to knock in the only run in that game. Is the Rays, they won 100 games for the first time in their franchise's history and win the division, but the Yankees and the Red Sox get the 2 wild cards, and now we'll play Tuesday in that drop-dead game in Boston.
Keeps the Mariners out of the playoffs. The Mariners haven't been into the postseason for 20 years.
20 years. I heard you mention that on the Zone Center this morning. Yeah,
keeps them out of the playoffs. So you
the
get
Blue
the Red
Jays
Sox.
narrowly missed too. That whole division, except for Baltimore, who was historically bad with over 100 losses. Everybody else was good in that division.
No, so you get the Red Sox, Yankees in the elimination game. They're the wild card. On the National League, it is the Cardinals and the Dodgers in the elimination game. There, the Giants will await the Braves and
the winner of the Braves and Brewers. Yep,
that'll be that. And then, of course, you have the Astros in there on the American League side as well. That'll get into the playoffs. All right, and the Rays will be in there on the American League. Let's get to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Shane Sean with us on a Monday. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are y'all?
We're doing well.
Well, Mondays, I hate them. I really hate Mondays. I have to come to work and sit in basically a staff meeting for 2.5 hours the first part of the day. But let me tell you what, that made my day today, having to sit there and listen to my bosses talk senseless nonsense rather than listen to Dummy O from the Borough call in and brag about his Kentucky Wildcats.
Well, I actually changed on. It was actually he actually sounded like they lost, which was kind of an interesting take. He was complaining about the officiating, even though Kentucky won the game,
and he was complaining about Florida fans not complimenting Kentucky on their own post-game radio show.
Hey, Dummy O from the Borough, listen, Kentucky still sucks. They suck. Get over it. They're going to suck in basketball this year, too. See y'all.
See ya.
Very succinct point there by Shane.
And speaking of basketball,
I disagree about the basketball part.
Speaking of basketball, though, we do want to get this out there. We had him on our show real fast. We had him on our show, and that is former UNA head coach
Bobby Champagne.
Bobby Champagne has left Tharptown, and he has now become an assistant coach with Kelvin Sampson at Oklahoma. They're reunited.
And now, no, they're at Houston.
Houston, my bad. Yeah, he was.
He's going to reunite with Kelvin Sampson on the Houston staff. They will be coming to Tuscaloosa in December, so we will see Bobby Champagne. So he never really coached a game for Tharptown. They're going to have to rejigger there. But congratulations to Coach Champagne back on the college sideline. We know that's really ultimately what he wanted to do. But before we close up the show, Brandon calling in on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. What's up, Brandon? We got you, man.
All right, Brandon trying to join us.
On the,
we're live on a Monday morning from Bill Penney Toyota out here in the service department. Don't forget they're open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and then on Saturday, 7 to 5. Don't forget to also visit wzzn.halfoffdeal.com. There's the best half-off deals throughout the Tennessee Valley. You can also get $50 worth of food right now for $25 to Metro Diner. Let's get back out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Be Rich with us this morning. Good morning, sir.
What's up, Be Rich?
Good morning, Drew. I got to give you a big tip of the cap. I haven't always been his biggest fan, and I know you have, but B-Rob ran like a grown-ass man on Saturday and pretty much dominated that game. So I know I've been tough on him, and I need to call in and say when I'm wrong, but B-Rob, grown-ass man this weekend. Super proud of the way they played.
Yeah, and he's still got a rib injury, so he played through some pain. I know he took some shots, but 36 carries, 171, 4 TDs. Walter Camp National Player of the Week. Total, respect to B-Rob and his performance. But now with Roy Dell and Trey Sanders are going to have to step up with the loss of Jace McClellan. Really like the way they complemented each other, but tough loss for Jace. Hopefully he'll get well soon, but certainly going to have those other 2 backs now step it up with Brian Robinson.
Thank you, B-Rich, for the
Appreciate
call.
it, B-Rich.
For the first time in 679 days, Tennessee State, they're victorious on the road. They beat Austin Peay over the weekend. That gave Eddie George his first Division I victory as a head coach.
And that's one of those Ole Miss wins against Austin Peay, and they sort of got exposed on Saturday.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's going to do it for a Monday edition of Talking Ball. We'll be back in studio tomorrow. We're live. Thank you to Bill Penney Toyota here to the service department for being gracious hosts. And we're going to wrap up our show today. We'll be back in studio tomorrow.
Thank you to Jason Caldwell, Travis Reier, and our phone callers. Everybody will be back with you in studio 7:01 a.m. Have a great rest of your Monday.
Listen to the Tom Abraham Show.
And he loves fishing.